How are we doing, guys? And we are back again with the usual match day content. It is the lineup reaction. I am a little bit somber because Rafinha's not here, and that makes things very sad. It always does, doesn't it, Scott? But we have got your usual lineup reaction to start off with match day on All These TV. So, Scott, let's go straight into it then, mate. Let's go straight into it. Have you got that sexy little graphic as well? Let's go into it. Right, so look at that. Look at that graphic. Absolute poetry in motion, that graphic.
And it's not blocking our pretty, your pretty mustache and my gorgeous Santa beard. It's not blocking any of that.
Freddie Mercury and Santa basically presenting you All These TV today. So let's look at the team from back to front. So Mele in goal. We think it's Stuart Dallas at right back, Diego Llorente and Liam Cooper at centre back. Pascal probably going back into left back like he did against Leicester. Forsh, Phillips, Holding, Klich maybe just ahead of them. James and Harrison on the right and left, and Joffy, Gelhardt, who makes his first ever league start for Leeds United today. Fantastic to see, Scott. Surprised?
Yeah, I think whenever we see that Rodrigo and Rafinha weren't going to be making it, they weren't fit for today's game. I think panic has set in, but realistically, there's not much of a change in that team. We've got Joffy starting, who we've all been crying for weeks. We've been begging for Joffy to start. So really, the only change there is 𝐿𝐶 is starting. Really, the Joffy in. I don't know anyone would be feeling down. Joffy in is something that we've all been wanting to see, and obviously that's going to come at the expense of Rodrigo. There's so many other lineups could have happened today. I sent you one earlier on, expecting Tyler Roberts to be starting up front.
Surprising.
I'm actually very surprised Roberts isn't starting. I thought that would have been the go-to.
Guys, smash that like button if you can for us. It would help us massively. Obviously, the news is that Rafa isn't so well at this moment in time. Obviously, quick mention for 𝐿𝐶 coming in as well, Scott. I mean, obviously, we want to see a much better Matheus 𝐿𝐶 this afternoon, surely.
Yeah, well, this kind of happened to him last year, where he kind of goes through phases, 𝐿𝐶. He'll have a couple of good games, and then he has one or two bad games, and it just kind of carries through his next few performances. Takes a break from the team for a couple of games, and the next thing you know, we're all singing 𝐿𝐶 is scoring goals. And then he stops scoring goals again, I'm still pretty optimistic. I'm not going to lie. I'm liking the lineup. It's almost what I expected. Joffy has got a massive, massive task today and a massive opportunity. Joffy scores today and we walk away with 3 points. There is no one on this planet that says Joffy shouldn't be starting. And that's what he needs to have in his head today. Joffy needs to have it in his head that if he outperforms and scores goals today, he's the first choice striker. And that's the way he has to play today.
Yeah, of course. I think, absolutely. I think the way he's played so far, and he's looked fearless. I think that's the big thing. The one word I probably really use for Gelhardt, aside from his obvious quality, what really impresses me about Joffy is that fearlessness. If that is a word, I think it is a word anyway. But he doesn't fear anything. The fact he comes on against Wolves, 1-0 down. A bit of a nifty game to start off with, but he makes a massive impact on it. And I love this confidence. Joffy will score. I think Joffy's got a chance today. Obviously, we'll go through the Tottenham team in a second, but let's just have a quick look at the bench. A couple of questions about the bench. Let's have
I
a
don't
look.
have the bench on the graphic.
Let's read it out. So, Clarkson, Firpo, Drame, Creswell, McCarran, McKinstry, Jenkins, Greenwood, Roberts. That is one young bench, Scott. I think the oldest player on that bench is Tyler Roberts, I think, or Firpo. That kind of sums it up. That sums up the bench today. Not very experienced, but there's a fearlessness about that bench.
Yeah, again, it's a frustrating thing about having Bielsa as manager because he does want to work with a small squad. And having a young bench is a blessing and a curse. a blessing because those young guys are usually quite hungry, and when they come on, they want to work their ass off and make a point. You know, it's that kind of enthusiasm that you don't get with an older bench. But what you don't have with the young bench is experience. And there's none of those guys in there would know how to manage this game out. They don't have the Premier League experience at this level. That's a massive, massive blow for us. But again, it's something that we've been used to and we'll be dealing with constantly. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm still pretty confident with that lineup. It's nice. But you look at Spurs lineup and you're really compare the two of them, and on paper right now, if we lose by 1 goal and put in a good shift, you'd be happy enough with it.
Well, let's go through the Tottenham team. Let's remind ourselves of obviously Tottenham, newly managed by Antonio Conte, as Matt and David were telling us on the opposition lineup and opposition preview. Sorry, but this is the opposition lineup. So it looks like a back three again, as we normally expect with Antonio Conte. Hugo Lloris, Tanganga, Dyer, Davis is the back three. It looks like Emerson Real at right wing back, Reguilon at left wing back, and then a midfield two of Højbjerg and Winks, Lucas on the right, Son on the left, and Kane up top. So it looks like a 3-4-3 shape from Tottenham. Look, I mean, Son and Kane is a massive worry, I think, for any team in this league, is a worry, Scott. But is there anyone else in that team who concerns you at all, massively?
Højbjerg and Ndombele. Thankfully,
Ndombele's not there. He's on the bench.
He's on the bench. But again, that goes to show the strength and depth that they have that we don't. You know, that you look at that lineup and go, right, that's dangerous. Then you look at their bench and go, oh Jesus, they've still got a few players that could cause us problems. You know, and this is what we'll face this. You know, sorry, I'm just taking our graphics off again there, but we're going to face these problems throughout the whole season. And again, whilst Bielsa is the manager, this is something that really, it's not new to us. And for some of the new fans saying that it's a joke, listen, we're used to it, but we need better quality in the squad. You know, you look at those two lineups and you're going, Spurs have this in the bag today. You know, I'm confident that if everyone in that Leeds team does their job, we can walk away with something. Yeah, and that's a big one. So they have to be on the top of their game. No mistakes, no nothing. We have to be on top of our game. We beat Spurs last time we met, so there's no reason why we can't do it again.
I agree. I think that's the thing. I think we have to play like we did against Leicester. No mistakes. I think that goes without saying. No mistakes at all. We can't afford that today because of the quality that Tottenham do possess. But if we play like we did against Leicester, then yeah, I think we can cause this Tottenham team problems. Then look, Conte is a top manager, but I think that's the only real reason people are rating this Tottenham team, not actually based on what this Tottenham team has done so far this season, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think they're just basing it on, they're assuming that it's going to be a lot better under Conte. Yeah. But they played that first game against Everton, didn't really create a lot in that game, weren't the most convincing in that in the first game, against Vitesse Arnhem in the Conference League. So yeah, it's going to be interesting in that kind of sense. But I'm certainly not looking at this game and thinking it's a case of damage limitation. I think that's a ridiculous way of looking at it. The way we are in the table, we've got to look at every game and thinking we can get some points from it. That's got to be the ambition. I mean, absolutely.
We are going to be constantly playing teams that have got better depth and better players. But you look at Spurs and they haven't scored a goal in 3 games. Everyone's banging on about Harry Kane. He's scored 1 goal all season. And he's played nearly every game. Patrick Bamford scored 1 goal and he's been out for half the season.
Yeah, I mean, but Kane's a good player. Let's not deny it. Kane is a good player.
When he puts on the England shirt, yeah. But see from that stuff at the end of the season, Harry Kane's let himself down, and I don't think the players have his back anymore. I think Spurs are better off without him, and that's the truth. They just need to get rid.
Well, let's not jinx anything. Let's just be careful.
I know this is going to bite me in the arse. He's going to end up getting a hat trick, and I'm going to look like a dick.
You've said it now. It's too late. But beyond Kane and Son, I don't think that's a great Tottenham team. I genuinely don't. I think Kane and Son are capable of winning any game of football against any team. That good for me. Certainly Son. But But I don't think beyond that Tottenham team's especially good. If I'm being totally honest, I don't look at it and think, oh my word, they've got this player, they've got that player. The whole team's great.
Yeah.
There's some weaknesses in that team. I think Joffy can get at that back three personally.
Yeah. Again, if he's on point, if he's playing the way that we all expect him to, and assume that he can play, you know, we've been busting to see Joffy start, and I think that's why I'm excited. After hearing that Rodrigo and Raphinha were going to miss, seeing Joffy start, that's kind of got my excitement levels up again. Even though you can't hear it in my voice, I'm loaded with the man flu.
But no, I still feel fairly confident that we can cause problems against Tottenham. I'm not saying we're going to go there and win the game. I just think we can definitely give a good account of ourselves here. I think it's a similar game to the Leicester game. We will get opportunities for me, but the quality they've got, they're probably going to get opportunities as well. I think it's just a case of can we take them. I think now we've got a focal point up top, an actual natural. I know Joffy's a bit more of a second striker than he is a centre forward, but he's someone who knows where the back of the net is. He's scoring goals consistently for the under-23s. Yes, I know it's not the first team, but the under-23s, he still knows where to position himself. He's still going to be that presence in the box for James and Harrison to aim for. And that's what I think James and Harrison need. Obviously, 𝐿𝐾, we need a bigger performance from 𝐿𝐾. Forge, starting 2 games back-to-back is good to see. Let's hope he can get through a good 80 minutes here or so, similar to the Leicester game.
I think the big thing with Joffy is that he's not afraid to take a shot. He's not afraid to take someone on.
Yeah.
Plus, he's great at pulling apart defenders. You know, he will create space that Harrison and James can get into. Now, if Harrison doesn't do what he's been doing the last lot of games where, you know, he's been great right up until that final pass, that final decision. If we can get that Harrison back that had a great last decision, we could be a wee bit more threatening. We can. I think we can do something today, but again, they have to be on point because all it'll take is one slip up and Kane and Son are going through and they'll punish us. It's that simple. It really is that simple.
That's it. It's like that against a lot of these teams, these top 6 sides, that they've got top qualities at the top end of the pitch, and that's what we know we're facing that today. But I still think we'll have a lot of the ball today. I do think we'll have a lot of the ball. Just because we're going to a top 6 team, I don't think we're going to abandon our principles. We never have under Bielsa. And I don't think Tottenham will like it in terms of us finding that space behind their wing backs, because Emerson Real, so far this season, hasn't been convincing at all in the Tottenham shirt. Yeah. Eric Dyer, obviously, we know has got a mistake in him. So, yeah, I think there's a chance we can cause problems against this Tottenham team.
No, Dyer, I'll have the best game of the season.
On what basis, though? On what basis?
It's Leeds. This is what they do. They all decide to play well against us.
But that'll only because we haven't done enough in the game. If we do enough in the game, get the ball into dangerous areas, get the ball into Joffy, quickly. There's no excuse for Dyer having a good game for me. I still think Joffy can get at Dyer for me today.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I think it's going to be a good match. I think the neutrals are going to have a great day with their half and half scarves, and they'll enjoy a good game of football. For me, I'm going to be absolutely squeaky bum time the entire match. A nervous wreck, and I could see, as long as we don't concede early on, if we can make it to the first half without conceding a goal, that'll be good. I think we could come out in the second half and maybe get, maybe steal a win.
I agree.
Spurs could go out and be absolutely dreadful, and we could be all over them and be 3-0 up at half time. You don't know. Watford beat Scum yesterday, for crying out loud. Anything can happen.
But all weekend has been surprise results. There has been surprise. I think all season has been surprise results. So we'll wait and see.
Call a single result right now.
I agree, though. If we can get to half time with a clean sheet, even if it's 0-0, we're not panicking. Brilliant. Yeah. Seriously, I think Tottenham are at this stage where if we start the game well, White Hart Lane can turn into quite against the home team. It really can. We can turn that crowd quite quickly. If we start well, dominate possession, couple of chances, keep it tight at the back, then I really do personally think we could cause problems. At the same time, as you said before, you give Son or Kane a chance. Son especially at this moment in time, he puts in the back of the net. Unfortunately, that's what we do face today. We're facing players who can just change the game in a second. That's the reality of what we face today. So,
and we don't have that player playing for us today. You know, we do have that in Rafinha, and he's not playing today. So today, all the rest of these players need to show that we don't have to rely on Rafinha all the time.
Yeah,
and that's what I want to see. I want to see this because if Bielsa said it in the press conference, you know, we do tend to rely on Rafinha, but Rafinha's only as good as the rest of the team behind him. You know, so he can only be as good as long as the rest of the players are doing their job. So it's time today. I want to see Dan James stepping up. I know we've talked a lot about Joffy. Dan James for me has been getting better every game, and I think today's the game that he needs to really step it up and show, look, I can hold my own here. I earned my place here.
I agree. I totally agree. And guys, you can check out Scott freaking out watching the game on our watch along this afternoon. What time we starting? About half an hour, mate. We're starting our watch along game. 20 past.
Like 20 past 4.
Scott and Rhiannon will be doing the watch along today. And after the game, obviously, me and Scott will be doing our post match reaction.
No, I'm not. Just you are.
Oh, am there?
Just you. It's just you. I know. Well, I'll do a post match. I'll do a post match reaction. I thought you were talking about the fans debate, and I'm like, no. That's all you today, Freddie.
And 10-minute post-match reaction straight after the game, and then we will be going to the fans post-match about an hour after full-time, roughly an hour after full-time. So if you can jump onto that, guys. Any members, you are free to have a chat on the game with me about an hour after full-time, give or take about an hour after full-time, so about 7:30ish. So please do jump on, guys, if you want to. Smash that like button if you haven't done already. Hit the subscribe button as well. And I think we'll leave it there. But fan reaction about 7:30 for anyone asking in the chat. Check out Scott on the watch along right now. And why didn't you check out Scott's pre-match preview of the game, my opposition preview of the game before the watch along? You've got half an hour. Make the most of it and check out all of the content. I'm going to leave it there, guys. We'll see you later anyway. Me doing November, Scott pretending to be Santa, and with
there's no pretending. I am.
We'll leave it there.